The latest developments in the war between Israel and Hamas. The defense secretary confirmed in a Senate hearing today that the United States is pumping the brakes on a shipment of bombs to Israel.
Again, as we have assessed the situation, we've paused one shipment of high payload munitions. And again, I think we've also been very clear about the steps that we'd like to see Israel take to account for and take care of those civilians before major combat takes place. We certainly would like to see no major combat take place in Rafah.
But there is a great deal of conflict in Rafah as the Israeli Defense Forces push their military offensive forward. An airstrike killed several Palestinians, including children, earlier today. Israel says Rafah is the last stronghold for Hamas and a wider offensive is needed to dismantle the terror group. Well, for more, let's bring in Jon Gambrell, that is, Associated Press News Director for the Gulf and Iran. Jon, great to be with you again. As we mentioned, the Defense Secretary confirmed today that the U.S. paused a large shipment of bombs. Has there been any reaction from the Israeli government to this?
Well, as of right now, the Israelis are being very careful about how they respond to the U.S. The U.S. has been their main ally throughout this whole war that's now 7 months old. And President Biden in particular has really been looked at by the Israeli government as a staunch ally, particularly as you see Europe and other nations really start to raise alarm and concern over the death toll in the Gaza Strip, which is now over 34,000 Palestinians killed since that October 7th attack that saw Hamas come over the border into Israel and kill 1,200 people. Now, they want to continue to make sure that U.S.-Israeli relationship remains tight, but the fact that they've stopped this shipment of bombs is sort of a warning sign for the Netanyahu government. That's a pretty hard line that the Biden administration remains concerned about its actions with Rafah.
And Jon, the Israeli military says that it has reopened the Kerem Shalom Crossing into Gaza, but a United Nations agency says that no aid has yet entered there. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, this has been the crossing that we saw where a couple of days ago there was a Hamas attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers there. The Israelis responded by shutting that crossing. That crossing, along with Rafah, remains the 2 key crossings for aid to get into the Gaza Strip. There's a lot of talk about the floating pier that the U.S. military is building. That's still not in position yet. The other crossings are not open. So really, in order to get the food and the water and the other medicine and aid that is needed for Gaza, it's got to go through either one of these 2 crossings. Rafah is obviously still closed after the Israelis yesterday stormed in there with the tank brigade and took it. Now, the Israelis are insisting that Kerem Shalom is open, but UN officials and others are saying that it's still pretty dangerous over there. There was some crossfire even today, and that they're still not able to get that needed aid in, but there's a lot of pressure to try to get that open, Tracy.
And Jon, is there any indication that a large-scale incursion is ready to happen? Do you know?
That's still sort of the million-dollar question in this conflict. The Israeli government with Prime Minister Netanyahu, the hardliners that are around him, continue to insist that they will go into Rafah. They say there are 4 battalions of Hamas militants still there that they want to try to take out, as well as senior leadership and those hostages. However, the United States, others in the European Union, and the wider international community are warning that those over 1 million civilians that are believed to be crowded into Rafah are at risk. They're trying to tell people to flee northward, but some say they're going to remain. The UN main agency for the Palestinians say it's going to remain. And as of right now, with these ceasefire negotiations still kind of on a knife's edge, it remains unclear if the Israelis will do it. But as of right now, Tracy, they're still certainly threatening to do it.
Jon Gambrell reporting for us tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.